Hey everyone, it's Chris here at Hertastic Reviews. I'm the host here at Hertastic Reviews, where we talk about movies, we go on rants, we do top fives, we do live streams, and today is a very, very, very special episode. Maybe one that can't be missed, maybe one that'll always be remembered, and I never thought we'd get here, but today we are talking about Garfield. Why I want to talk about Garfield? Because it's April 1st, and in 9 days, my birthday will be here. I'll be 25. So I figured let's talk about a movie that reminds me a lot of my childhood, and that is Garfield. Garfield, directed by Pete Hewitt, produced and written by Joel Coen of the Coen brothers. And it stars Bill Murray, Breckin Meyer, and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Like, this movie does not get enough love. I think Tale of Two Kitties wouldn't ever make it to inside the sequel because, honestly, I love the first so much. Like, I don't know if I'd have anything to say positively like I do with this movie with the sequel. So I figured I'd bring it on here to Hertastic Reviews, and we would just talk about Garfield, the movie. I have it here with the slipcover, which I think is essential for this movie. I mean, you got to own it with the slipcover. This thing's gorgeous. But a little background with this movie. So Bill Murray heard that one of the Coen brothers, Joel, not Ethan, was the one who was wanting to write a Garfield movie and push some of the technology of its time, because this movie came out in 2004, I believe, a year after Return of the King won Best Picture. And I think it was Chicago that ended up winning that year for 2004. I could be wrong. Or it might have been Crash. Not sure. But either way, Bill Murray, he's totally down to do a Coen brother movie, but he only gets one of them for this. And he gets Breckin Meyer from Clueless fame. He was in Road Trip, I believe, as well. Anyway, this is his big breakout movie, in my opinion. And it also had Jennifer Love Hewitt as well, who is starting to blow up on her own right here. So the three of them come together to make this really special movie that I think might be the best adaptation from comics since maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990, because Garfield is a comic strip you get in your newspaper. So they brought that to life with this movie, and I wish they did more movies like this. I would love to see The Family Circus as a live action movie. I'd love to see Dilbert as well. So make I guess Office Space is technically Dilbert, but still I love to have the character in the movie where he's like, hey, here's a memo. I think that's kind of fun. So yeah, Garfield 2004, it comes out. Bill Murray voices Garfield, and honestly, look at this fat cat. He is all about eating. I think Bill Murray really captures Garfield's characteristics. Since he talks in the comic, you kind of read, but you can't put a voice in there too much. But Bill Murray, I think, is a good fit to voice Garfield. I really believe Bill Murray kind of has some tendencies like Garfield. Always wanted to eat lasagna, wanted to watch TV, dance when he watches TV, and then, as everyone knows, Odie comes to ruin Garfield's relationship with Jim, and or John, excuse me, and brings a dog home, and it's. The dog doesn't say anything, which I think is a big flaw of this movie. Maybe the biggest flaw is that Odie doesn't even talk in the movie. He's just a dog, normal dog. And you get Bill Murray carrying the weight of this movie on his back with having to do most of the talking and the acting. And I think the mo-capturing for this movie that Bill Murray did for Garfield, I think is really solid. He really does move like a cat. Also, it has I think it's Brad Garrett from the Everybody Loves Raymond TV show. He's in it. Yeah, Brad Garrett's in it. It also has Stephen Tobolowsky, who is in Californication. He kind of plays he does play the CEO, who is the one who runs the dog show in the movie. That's pretty funny. Also has Nick Cannon. He plays one of the dogs as well, which he's very recognizable. So I mean, you get some A-listers in this movie. Also, it has Jimmy Kimmel in it as well. I don't know. I think this movie gets overlooked because, I think it's because it's a dated movie and people are like, oh, we've moved on. CGI's moved on, but I had an episode where I talk about 98's Godzilla, and for that time, Roland Emmerich was pushing some technology, and I feel like in this movie too, they're pushing a lot of technology with the mocapping, the CGI here, and it's a pretty intense story. Like, Garfield kind of wants to get rid of Odie, but then he realizes that, hey, this is family. Like, he helps me out, I help him out, and he goes on an adventure to get off the couch, leave the cul-de-sac, which is a funny scene, and go rescue Odie. And I think when it comes to animation, nothing gets better than in this movie. The jokes always land. I don't think a movie like this has been funnier. I don't know. Like, it might be one of the funniest movies I've ever watched in my life. And that is coming from someone who absolutely hates modern comedies, and just the comedy genre is not really my thing. I don't hate it, but most modern comedy today I don't care for at all. But I mean, this was like a golden time. You get this. I think the Anchorman movies were coming out. I'm trying to think of other movies that were very big. I don't know. Garfield really just stands out for me in terms of comedies. And then you get like really trash ones like Game Night and let's see here,
Bruh.
Good Boys. I mean, nothing beats this and like Superbad and like Office Space. And yeah, I don't know. Like, that's just my kind of comedy. A lot of modern comedies I can't even like crack a smile at, you know? So, and I think it's because of Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray. I love him in the crazy movie that is Groundhog Day and Ghostbusters. But to me, this might be his magnum opus. Like, him and Joel Coen teaming up for this was kind of like, I mean, why didn't they do more movies like this? Like, Bill Murray in True Grit. Take out Jeff Bridges and put Bill Murray in there. Golden. Breckenmeyer should have been a star after this movie, but I'm pretty sure that there was harassment allegations about him to Jennifer Love Hewitt, where she just was not about him at all. Like, I think he said she was cute, and Breckenmeyer says you're cute. You want to avoid that guy, because I mean, he comes off kind of strong. I feel like, especially in this movie, like, I feel like he does try to be such a macho guy, and that's just like not John the character at all. So talk about comic book adaptations. You want to get mad at like some of the modern, like Jared Leto's Joker. You want to get mad at that. Like, you definitely want to get more mad that Breckenmeyer gets to play John. Like, I feel like someone to play John would have had to been someone like, and I mean the budget for this was probably pretty big, so they could have easily afforded the guy. But if it were me at this time, I probably would have had someone like David Duchovny would be a good John. Can you imagine David Duchovny, Jennifer Love Hewitt in this movie? Like, it would have had to been rated R. This movie is only PG, but it does get away with a lot of suggestive language, which I think is great. I don't know. Garfield had so much potential, and I feel like it gets forgotten about so much. And Jennifer Love Hewitt ended up doing Buffy after this, so go figure, right? So, you want to get the Blu-ray.
Bruh.
I don't know. I think this might be an out-of-print Blu-ray, so if you can find it on the internet now, you're gonna have to deal with scalpers. I'm pretty sure this was just who put this Blu-ray out. I think it was 20th Century Fox, so it's owned by Disney. So you definitely want to snag a copy of this now before it goes back into the Disney vault. I'm pretty sure though that Mill Creek is gonna buy this title from 20th Century Fox, so it might get a Mill Creek release. So we'll get a boutique edition possibly soon. I would love a steelbook of this with just a plate of lasagna, since that was Garfield's favorite dish. But yeah, here's the reason why you want to get the Blu-ray. And I've dug through all the special features here, and I can attest, like, Scream Factory does not hold a freaking candle to this 20th Century Fox releasing. Look at you get a feature at the birth of Garfield, the rise of Garfield, Garfield from strip to script, grab a number 2 pencil, the evolution of Garfield. You get a feature commentary, which I've listened to the Joel Coen commentary on this, and the amount of respect he brought to Garfield in the comic strip for this movie is like, I don't want it. It's crazy. Like, I love the Coen brothers, but I'm gonna be bold and say this might be the Coen, even though it only has one of the 2 Coen brothers character players. I think this is probably the best that Joel's ever done. Period. And like, I know that some of their works are pretty hit or miss. Like, I know The Big Lebowski is a huge miss for a lot of people, as is Fargo. But things like Blood Simple and Blinking Now, the really dark comedy that had, oh man, I gotta look this one up. Burn After Reading. Like, I know like those are considered like the best Coen brother movies. But I would say, like, give Joel Coen a chance. Like, he should have he's like the Brandon Flowers of the Killers. Like, you know, like him and his brother do great together. But like when Brandon puts out a solo album, just like Joel puts out his own movie, bam, you get something like Garfield. So can't miss with that. But yeah, Garfield is one of my favorite movies. It's probably one of the best movies of the last 20 years in terms of kid film movies. I know people want to talk about Disney all the time, and they want to talk about like DreamWorks and stuff like that. And I absolutely know that Prince of Egypt is goated. But man, like 20th Century Fox should have put out more kids movies like this. And like, you know, they did this, and I think they also did like Cat in the Hat. Like these are some movies that we as like growing up were some of the best movies of all time. And I think they still hold up 100% with comedians who people kind of wrote off. Like Mike Myers was doing the Cat in the Hat, and people were like, oh, like he's done for, like he hasn't been good since SNL. And after doing the horrible Wayne's World movies, you know, he comes out and does Cat in the Hat, and then, you know, they forget about him till Love Guru, and then they bring him all back. So I feel like Bill Murray kind of had that thing. I know people hated Ghostbusters, and I know Groundhog Day was like such a commercial failure that, you know, people kind of forgot about Bill Murray. Like, I don't think I remember, like, this and, like, Zombieland 2 is probably Bill Murray's best movies. And I think he's in Zombieland 2 for, like, a second. So that's what's crazy. The world we live in today, I don't understand. We want to champion, like, such movies like the Joss Whedon Justice League. And, like, we want to talk about how just Joss Whedon in general, like, people, like, want to champion that guy. And they're going to say, like, you know, things like The Last Jedi is the worst movie ever made, worst Star Wars movie, you know, like we live in a world that's backwards like that. And then like we forget about things like Garfield, you know. I saw that Fritz the Cat is getting a Blu-ray release from Criterion, so why not just do a double feature, you know, a 9 Lives box set. You could throw this, you could throw Cat in the Hat, you could throw in Fritz the Cat. I would need another cat movie. Oh, you could put Cats vs. Dogs, the Revenge of Kitty Galore. That would be such a great box set from Criterion. Like films of that caliber deserve to have the most pristine box sets. And they did something awful. They put out the dumb Bruce Lee box set that everyone has, which is a waste of time. And then they, you know, why don't they put something like this, like the Feline or the 9 Live box set? Like that would be amazing. I would pre-order that. And you know me, I'm someone who doesn't pre-order anything. I would pre-order that. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on Garfield down below. For our next week's episode, I want to put out more videos, especially with my birthday coming up on April 10th. It'll be a Saturday. I'm not going to put up a video on my birthday. Definitely won't. But definitely this channel is here to stay. And if you give me those likes, comments, and subscriptions, share this video with everyone, I think next week's episode will be definitely better. But other than that, it's so great to see you all. And we'll see you next time. And remember, if you aren't watching Garfield, do you really care about cinema? Anyway, we'll see you next time. Also, April Fool's Day, you know we're here to stay, motherfucker!